Welcome to the coach house. Today, my hair is a little messed up. That's all right. But today, we do not have Shoney Carter. The second time only that's ever happened. Much love to Shoney. He's dealing with some stuff right now. Love to have him back on soon. But we have... What is your username? You never actually told me.
I can't remember if it's Tony 2 Revs or Tony 2 Times. So we'll have to
figure that out. Tony 2 Revs or Tony 2 Times?
I go by both.
2 Times. Is that from Goodfellas?
Yep.
Going to get the papers. Get the papers.
Get the papers.
Hell
get the papers.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think it's Frankie in the movie, but my cousin would always say it, and his name was Tony too. And then he actually passed away a couple years ago, and that was... But he called me Tony 2 Times. So then after that, I was like, that's the only one I really want to go by. But
excuse me, we've been drinking a few quarters.
Oh,
excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I had a cousin who just passed literally last month. And
yeah.
That's the first cousin I ever lost. So it's a weird feeling, dude.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's weird. But today... We're going to be talking about the spirit molecule. DMT. Tony is a...
connoisseur, I guess.
That is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I guess
that is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm a connoisseur of the DMT. Yes.
I was going to say expert, but I don't think that's probably not the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And veteran is just... makes you sound like an old salty dog.
Yeah. Or connoisseur or sommelier, I guess.
Oh, shit.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. We're also got a little new setup here. We're not sitting in these old fucking metal chairs that are literally, we try to keep this a half hour just because we want to compact it and keep it entertaining, but that doesn't always happen. But I'll tell you what, on those chairs, it happens because it is so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So I got this courtesy of Al, if you're watching, and I got that courtesy of me growing up and my dad. That's my old fucking chair.
It's a pretty solid couch.
Yeah. So I hope you like the new setup. We got the couch in here. We're just fucking throwing that back there right now, and we're just gonna continue building here. So, but welcome, my friend.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Welcome.
This is 6 months in the making, man.
Yeah.
What was it? October was when you. I think the first time we even talked about being on here, and now finally.
Was it really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I was telling you earlier, those days were literally what that camera sits on that thing right there, in there with 2 chairs across from each other. I think I had one couch, maybe both, like a couch I don't even have anymore, dude. It was like. Grassroots as you can fucking believe it, dude. Literally, my iPhone would sit in the middle of a table.
Right.
None of these are posted. None of those are posted. But it was just like, dude, you got to start somewhere. And they may not have been posted, but this is where I'm at today. I posted an Instagram story asking, like, how do you like the new setup?
Yeah.
I was like, I was getting a lot of, this is good. And then this one guy was like, you need to switch it up. Like, it was a poll. It was... this is good, or it needs to be switched up. And as soon as I got that one needs to switch up, I was like, dude, you should have seen where I came from, brother. Like, I promise you.
Small beginnings.
I promise you this is much better than where we started. But this is the new setup. This is Tony 2 Times. We're going to find out his actual fucking soon. But today we're talking about DMT. And where are we going to start this off today?
I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of your background or what's,
how I got into it, or
sure, yeah.
I just had a friend. Well, I screwed that up already. Okay, so DMT is really just the end all be all when it comes to hallucinogens. That's really what it is. To dumb it down, you got your shrooms, you got your acid. It's
above all that.
It's a different class. You know what I mean? You got your Molly, all that or whatever, but it's an incredibly strong hallucinogenic that's created naturally in your body. It's found in plants and most organic materials on the planet.
It's produced when you're asleep, when you're dreaming.
Yes.
I also heard it's found in your liver.
Yes, and some people say that it's also released in your brain when you die. So,
yes.
So post that. Do I know if that's true or not? I don't know. But
I have heard that too, though.
Yeah.
It's released in the brain when you die, just to so you're having a good time while you're dying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna go, you might as well have a DMT trip.
Well, the thing with DMT trips is, especially, it's such a powerful rocket ship. You know what I mean? Like it's this, or I should say, the strangest thing about it is it's incredibly familiar. Like that's one of the first things that you kind of realize when you do it. You know, on your way up, is that, well, there's many stages to it, but once you've been there, the strangest feeling that you have is like, this is incredibly familiar. Like, it makes you
And when you say familiar, because we talked, and we'll get into it, but we talked about like what you see and what.
Yeah.
We did not talk about what you hear, but we did talk about what you see, and none of that looks familiar. And we'll post some pictures. But we're gonna try to edit this in.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, how does it feel familiar? Just like what your brain feels like, or because in the place that you're in is nowhere familiar that you've ever been in before in your life, right?
No, that's what I'm saying though. It does feel familiar. It's so when you do DMT, you know, I used to have it in a vape juice, where I had this big vape juice thing, and basically all you needed to do was you could just take a pull off. Remember those big choochie, you know, cloud chucker vapes?
Bricks, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Basically, I started a brick, and I had a bunch of DMT dissolved in vape juice.
Can you believe that was just
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And now I'm smoking like this little ass thing.
Dude. And
These little ass things in 2016 would have sucked.
yeah.
Like shit material.
No,
like,
no one would have been.
The blue cigs all trash.
Yeah.
That's not the point today. Bring it back to DMT.
Yeah. So I had this, you know, it was dissolved in this vape juice.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm dying here. Why?
Because I'll do mine too. Why not? So
I can't, I had the big bricks.
yeah.
Was fine. I could smoke it. Couldn't smoke. Didn't have to smoke it.
Yeah.
Whatever. This thing I literally have to hit.
No, it's like crack almost, dude.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. But what happens when you do it is, the way that I had my vape juice set up was, it was strong, but it was something that you could kind of control. You could try and gauge it, okay?
What's your microdosing DMT? In a
Basically, yeah. So to a spot where I used to call it the waiting room, is that for most people when you do it, they tell you to take 3 big hits, okay? And you try to, when you start doing the first hit, you grab it and you hold it.
That's what they tell you.
Yes, and that's what I recommend when you're doing it the way that I did it.
I thought we were talking about not zeroing in on hits.
Not. There's different ways for different ones. So for different ingestion methods, but this one you wanted to zero it out. So you'd hold it in, and almost instantaneously there's a quirk. There's a glitch in the matrix.
Really?
Like almost, and it's okay, and you're like, okay, do I want to keep going? And you exhale. And if you feel comfortable, you do another one. And as you do that one, you do the same thing. You hold it in, and the matrix starts shifting a little bit more. Things get a little bit stranger, but you're still there. And then if you really, really want to go for it, you go for the third one. And if you do the third one...
Now, how are you... And sorry to interrupt, but how, because the videos that I've seen, and I've never done it, but the videos that I've seen... The person looks pretty incoherent. So how are they able to take 3 hits all together? How does that work?
But it's the way that I had the juice set up. So it was the ratio of ingestion.
I keep forgetting this is the fucking vape pen. I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
that.
this is the vape pen method of ingestion that I did for a lot of the time. It was the easiest way to do it. DMT, it tastes terrible. It smells like old sneakers. The only one way, some people.
You ever smelled a bad dab?
It
smells like plastic, right?
No, yeah, and
Does
this
it not,
is
though?
DMT. Turn that up to 11, with DMT. Like it
Does
literally
it smell
smells
like plastic.
like, you know that new sneaker smell? That's literally what it smells like.
That doesn't seem like it's the worst thing in the world.
It's not the best either, but
it probably smells like new sneaker on fire.
Yeah, there you go. That's I probably left out the on fire part. You know?
But not used sneakers.
Yeah. No, not used sneakers.
Just new sneakers on fire.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as apt. Like,
no.
That doesn't. New sneakers smells pretty good.
Yeah.
Fresh car smell, new car smell,
right.
pretty decent.
Yep.
On fire, though.
Not good. Not good. But, so it's that ratio. And like I said, that way you kind of, it's a little bit more controllable because it's literally a 0 to 1,000, dude. You know what I mean? And like I was trying to say with it's almost like a shift in time or something. Like you go from a 3-dimensional plane is where, you know, you're looking in and you know into where everything feels like instantaneously 2-dimensional. Like it's just like
2-dimensional.
Yeah, like
I thought it was beyond 3D. I thought it was multi-dimensional almost.
That's what
isn't 2D like just on pen like pen and paper?
No. Like as I was trying to say, like there's no. There's you climbed up the way that I was doing it, so you kind of would go up a little bit, and now you're here where it's like, oh shit's getting 2D, but I still know what the fuck's going on. So you do one more.
Do you know what the fuck's going on? Because everyone says, well, not everyone.
Yeah.
The people that I've seen review it, they say it's like a dream. One, they can't remember most of it, but
definitely can't remember most.
So
of it.
How do you have control over it? That's where I'm confused on.
Like I said, it was just a method of ingestion.
So it's not necessarily every type of way that you take DMT.
No, just the way that I was doing it.
I see.
Like I said, if you're just to take pure DMT and like smoke it out of a dab rig, you're going to fucking outer space.
So you
right
probably
away.
Can't take a second hit.
No,
and you might be able to, but probably not.
No, and you don't want to do it that way. It's so hard and fast, and like it's just. It's really easy for it to be unenjoyable for you. So like what I was trying to do was set it up where it was a slow plateau. I was trying to take the edge off of it. You know what I mean? Instead of going 1 to 1,000, all right, let's go to 200 miles an hour. Let's go to 400, 500. You know.
But that's a special case. That's not how most people are taking it.
No.
So
if you're doing normal people, then yeah, dude, it's instantaneously you're rocket ship to somewhere where you don't know, but like, well, not that you don't know, you're seeing things that you are damn near possible to describe, like
and that's literally what I hear almost every time.
And like that's the whole like part of it is like when you go there, you get so much, there's so much information, it's like information overload, and all you're trying to do when you're there is to like, oh my God, don't forget this. Oh my God, don't forget that. Like, oh yeah, don't forget this. You know, just keep all that with you. And like, you can explain this and you can articulate this to somebody else. And then as soon as you're out of it, you cannot. There's no way to describe it. It's just like, and the frustration from it. It's called.
It sounds like it's almost anyone who's done shrooms. It sounds like it's almost like that, but like harder to explain, because like you can kind of explain shrooms, but not really,
unless you've done it. If you've done shrooms,
you can can explain it to some degree, right?
Just to some degree,
but it's still like something that you, when you're telling to someone who hasn't done mushrooms, you have to be like, it's you have to do it to understand it,
exactly,
because you can't, and everyone's like, you know, to someone who hasn't done it and doesn't do that type of stuff, it's like, it comes off as like, you're just being an enabler.
Yeah.
But it's not, though. It's like, it's really not. It's really not.
The funniest thing is like, I feel like an idiot trying to explain it to everybody. You know what I mean? And like, I always constantly feel like some pseudo, like,
I can't,
shamanistic, like, I actually know what the fuck.
I can't lie, dude. When we had that conversation, it was either in October or December.
Yeah.
You were going off.
Yeah,
you were
dude.
on a rant. I don't know if you were on one.
I was on one.
You were on one, and you just kept rolling.
Yeah.
And you would not stop about DMT. And I'll be honest, I don't think anyone else in the room was even talking about. But I was listening, and I was just like, this is,
dude.
You know,
I get like that, dude. I get like that, and you know,
and that's fine. But like, I just think in the setting, people were just like,
no.
I think I was the only one who was like, really, really,
yeah. It's such a weird, and it's such a small niche thing, because something that's incredibly difficult to acquire, you know what I mean, for the most part, and not a lot of people get to experience it, and I've just had, I've had so much experience with it that it's like second nature to me, but like most people, aren't incredibly interested in it, or, you know what I mean, ever see it or think, or even, most people hear about it on Joe Rogan and say, "Oh my God, I want to do it."
And I think I think most people, if they've heard of DMT,
it's because
usually because of Joe Rogan.
And then, dude, I feel like such a douche. Like, all respect to Joe Rogan and everything, but like now, like every time you talk about it, it's just like, oh, this is just another guy who likes Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Or just like, I'm not trying to diss or whatever, but it's just like, I've heard
they've done it.
Yeah,
unless they've done it.
It's that same thing, like
if
you said.
If they've done it, what's Joe Rogan? It's different.
Like, hey,
but if they haven't, and
yeah.
they're just a Joe Rogan guy, and they want to start talking about, dude, because you can get all the facts from Joe.
Yeah.
You can recite them.
Yeah.
But you don't like
until you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I may have done mushrooms, and I'm just saying, like, you gotta. It's different. It's different.
It's definitely something, next level. And, with mushrooms, they're a lot of fun. You can have a great time. But with DMT, you can
really not have a great time.
Yeah, there was actually a really great video online. There used to be a show, Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia, on Vice. And I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That guy is a guy who's done too many drugs.
He's done a lot of fucking drugs.
And look, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But dude, he can't it's like you need a host and then you need him as the subject.
Right.
He can't host a show for shit.
Yeah.
That guy is so fucked up. He talks, dude. I'm not the best reader. He talks slower than I fucking read, man.
Oh, we got two people mixed up. Thinking of the wrong Hamilton.
Am I?
Yeah. This guy's the biochemist guy.
Black hair?
Yeah, with the glasses?
Super skinny?
Yeah.
And
what am I missing?
And he does drugs.
Yeah, what am I missing?
Yeah, and he talks like this.
I forgot that part.
And he talks like monotone.
I'm an asshole.
And he talks so fucking slow, man.
He does talk.
I'm sorry, man. Even when I'm chilled out, I'm a little amped up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just anyone who knows me probably knows that about me. Like, even when I'm chill, like, I can just fucking be like, all right, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of bothers me that he's just so... And that's a guy who literally just sounds like he did too many drugs.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what he's doing,
yeah.
But, man, like, maybe you should slow down just a little bit.
Yeah. I think there was the one time, though, that my favorite thing that he ever did was he did it on 5-MeO-DMT, which is a crazy strand of DMT that's found in frog venom. Remember... There's a frog in the desert, in the Serona Desert or some shit like that.
Is this where you like lick a toad type shit?
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
The whole licking the toad thing is from people, they harvest it and smoke it. But he did 5-MeO-DMT, freebased it. And
I have no idea what that means.
Dude, okay, so 5-MeO-DMT is like the most... It's even above the DMT that I've done. I've never done this one. This is like...
So this is like... Like, you think you're going outer space. This is literally taking you to another planet.
Well, if we're talking about, like, just, like, videos of the people and, like, how, like, how...
Like, they're, like, literally...
on the ground convulsing and shit. Like, yeah, that doesn't look like a good time, but...
Is that what this is? That type of level
That's that type of
shit
level.
Shit in your pants type shit?
Yeah, but the favorite thing that he ever said about it was just that, it was... before he did it, after he came out of the trip, he didn't fucking cry or anything like that. He just laid back and just said love, love over and over for.
And that's how he talks, dude.
Yeah, that
like,
low
dude,
monotone love. But
I cannot take it.
He goes like, but you ever like, people say like, oh, you make something, oh, they made it with love. You know what I mean? And that's why it tastes so good. He's like, I never believed that beforehand. He goes, but now, he's like, I never thought you could quantify love. But now after this experience, he's like, I get it. It's like, it's something you can't see and you can't put your finger on, but you have that you can put in there.
But dude, to like anyone who's never done anything...
I sound like a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah, that just comes off as like, dude, you are a fucking hippie of 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a hippie that's living 50 years...
in the future or something.
Well, not in the future, just like, would it be the past? No, it wouldn't be past.
I don't know.
It'd be, dude. You just come off as like this fucking hippie guy.
Yeah.
It's just like.
And the funny thing is like I'm not really that big of a hippie. You know what I mean?
But
like
for sure, and I hear you.
Yeah.
But like to anyone who doesn't do any drugs,
oh
maybe
no,
just smokes weed.
Yeah, I sound like the biggest hippie, dude.
Yeah, that sounds like incredibly like, dude. My mom makes masticholi with love.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking tremendous.
Dude, I'm not fucking having the outer world experiences with this shit. So let's kind of bring it back a little bit. So why don't you kind of just explain like what you see?
Oof. Okay. Let's do the Alex Gray thing. So
I'm gonna try my best to edit in a picture here. Yeah, we'll see. If I can't do it, that looks stupid as fuck.
So one of the last times that I did it, I have it in a joint, and there's more than one way to do it. So there's a way that's called Changa, which is a DMT mixed with an MOI inhibitor. That's just, it's like a loose leaf that you can smoke out of a bowl or a joint or whatever. It's really easy, and
so it turns it into like a tobacco or like a weed in a
right.
sense. Okay.
Instead of the free-based DMT, which is more of just the raw chemical, which is a lot hard. Like I said, it's kind of hard to ingest.
Is that like a crystal form? Or?
Yeah, basic crystalline. Yeah, it's a crystal. Okay. So,
can you smoke that? You freebase it?
You can, but...
And I believe freebasing is what? It's not lighting it directly, it's underneath it.
Yeah, it's almost like smoking, like a speed pipe. It's really gross. And
I had a buddy who, we smoked weed at his mom's house all the time. It was her apartment. And she hated that we smoked bowls because she's like, it always reminded me of freebasing back in the 80s. Oh, no. And I was like, all right, but this is like way different. Like, this is... But it's just funny because, like, when you grow up in different eras and you see different shit, you can take things the wrong way, right? Like, But sorry, a little sidetrack. But so you can freebase the crystal. Yeah. You can smoke it through a vape pen, which I don't even know how the fuck you got that to work. And then you can smoke it as like a almost like a leaf. In a sense.
It's basically
mixed with grinded down plant.
Yeah, plant matter basically. So I have that in a joint or whatever, and every once in a while, I can never do it when I'm sober. That's like the funny thing is like I never even though I've done it.
Do what?
I can never do DMT in any form like stone sober. Like I'm scared of it. Like,
so are you drunk? Are you...
No, well, I'm not saying that I don't like to...
Can you have a few beers and smoke it?
I do most of the time, but I still...
Do you think...
It's dude, anybody that does it, like, it for me, or I can't say for everybody, it's hard to do because it is such a trip that, like, you're scared. And no matter how many times you do it, you're still scared every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just...
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it could be good, it could be bad, it could be this awesome enlightening experience, or you could get smacked in the face.
Because, like, you can kind of control shrooms as long as... Because there's still, like, a sense of consciousness while you're doing shrooms.
Well, dude, most people can't handle smoking weed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about it. You know what I mean? The first time...
That's a good point.
People smoke weed...
Sometimes I forget.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like... How many times have you been with somebody and seen them smoke weed for the first time? They end up throwing up on the ground or fucking freaking out, having a fucking panic attack.
Buddy, and it's like, I don't even want to smoke with those people anymore.
Right.
It's like...
So...
It's like babysitting.
Yeah. And like I said, this is something that makes me sound like an incredible, hippie dude because I've done it. But like I said, it's... That's how you feel, dude. It's like that. You still have that little bit of anxiety from the first time that you ever smoke it. You have to be in the right frame of mind and ready to do it when you want to do it.
Yeah.
And
do you recommend so they always say do shrooms in like a forest?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend that with DMT or can it really be anywhere?
A lot of people,
Is it more about mindset or environment?
I've done it I've never really done it outside. And a lot of people do recommend that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is something. If anybody's done shrooms, it's shrooms to like the 10th power.
But also, here's the other thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt again, but
please.
But Joe Rogan, he said when he did it, he had his eyes closed. So does it really matter if you're in nature or not? Or is it really just about where your actual physical body is, not in the sense of what you can see, but like literally where your body is.
You definitely end up wanting to close your eyes. You know, that kind of, it's so overwhelming majority of the time that...
Does it overlay? Is that how it works? Or does it morph?
Dude,
do things morph, or is there an overlay of what you're seeing on top of reality?
Most of the time you don't know where the fuck you're at.
Okay.
Like
so it's a morph. It's not an overlay. It's not like you can see the table in front of you.
Yeah, no.
It's the table in front of you is turned into a fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But a shape.
It's
Can you touch anything?
You can, like, no.
Not really.
No. Majority of the time
Do you hear anything?
Sound is important, but majority of the time that I've done it, I've always done it to music.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer doing it to music. That's actually my favorite way
to do it. What do you listen to?
Mostly Tool.
What's that?
Just a dude, 2020 hippie. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a really good rock band that I really like. They're, what
do they sound like?
Alex Gray does a lot of the artwork for them. They're a prog rock band or prog metal band. You can't really classify it, but they do a lot of really long songs with long instrumental periods and.
Would you call it a jam band or not really?
No, it's definitely not a jam band.
So it's like intentional, the songs that they're doing. Like,
yeah,
it's not just like here's the song on the record and then we're gonna jam out while we're playing it. It's literally this is how it goes.
No, dude, it took them like 13 years to make their last album.
13 years.
Yeah, they were on hiatus for like 13 years, but
hiatus or were they working?
They were like. Oh my!
That's how long it took that they broke up while they were working on it.
They did. Well, one of the guys went and did other stuff, but Tool to me is just one of my all-time favorite.
What does it sound like,
dude? Okay, they're kind of in their own class, dude.
Okay, fine.
Think of you've heard some of their songs. They've had songs on the radio, but a lot of their stuff as of late, or the ones that I like to listen to, are long instrumental songs, and a lot of the lyrics are. Deep, or you know what I mean. They're meant to make you think. You know what I mean. They're food for thought.
Yeah.
They're
all right. So you listen to that while you're doing this shit.
Yeah, and so when I was doing it the last time, I had it in a joint and I smoked and I was listening to the song and it goes boom ba-doom 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 ba-doom, and the song just slowly starts to build. So I'm sitting in my room, and my light was on, and my little ceiling fan or whatever, and I had a joint there, and I'm sitting, and I turned the song on my TV, and I could see that, and I pull on the joint one time, and it gets just doom 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 doom. I'm like, okay, this is fucking cool. All right, here we go. The room started to shake a little bit. I took a second hit. And as the song keeps building, boom, 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 and after I exhaled the second hit, I could start to see the drums visualized, like the sound of the drum visualized in color in 3D in front of my face as it went boom, boom, boom. So they were literally moving in time. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll do one more. And I pulled it one more time, and I put the joint out, and I held it in, and I exhaled, and I laid down on my bed, and my eyes are wide open, and my room just flattened out completely. Just everything was just right on top of my face, and I'm like, oh my god, there's just so much going on that you can't really describe it, hardly. And I started to freak out a little bit. I'm like, holy shit, like this is too much. This is too much. It's too much. So I know the song so well. I knew I was only 2.5, 3 minutes into the song, and it's a 12-minute song.
Yeah.
So it basically lasts the entire duration of the trip. So I started getting fucking nervous, dude, and I jumped up.
Nervous about what?
Just the overwhelming feeling that was coming. The song is powerful, and it moves. I don't know how to describe it. It's just powerful, dude, and you're having this.
What's the song name?
Reflection is the name of the song. So everything becomes so overwhelming. You just got rocket shipped basically to somewhere that you can't describe. You don't know. You feel like loved and safe and familiar for some reason, but nothing is familiar at all. Mm-hmm. There's this giant play being like set out in front of you, and you're just there to see it.
Is it scary?
It is, because like I said, as this trip continued, I was like, this is too fucking much. I jumped up. I was able to turn my light off. I jumped back in my bed. I pulled the covers over my head, and I went straight into like a fetal position. And there's that Alex Gray, you know, Net of Being or whatever. And as the music was playing, I just basically like went in there, and it's just this giant wave of eyes, and I don't even fucking know how to describe it, but
yeah.
you're just floating through it, and it's going up and down and side, and the lyric, it's indescribable. It's just asinine for me to sit here and try to describe it at this point, because I'm just beating a dead fucking horse. But
so would you recommend that it's for most people, or it's not?
Definitely
for most
not.
people?
Definitely not.
But the experience is so powerful that it's almost like, in a sense, most people should have it, but you don't think they can handle it? Or?
Yes. You know what I mean?
But they should have it, or they shouldn't?
I would say it's the same as with shrooms, but for oh God, I can't articulate without sounding like a chooch, in my opinion. But like, yeah, it's such a powerful and wonderful experience. You want everybody to have it, but not everyone can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not best for everybody.
I've heard that people have a hard time processing what happened afterwards. Is that?
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
You know, it's super hard to process it. And like I was saying before, trying to say before, is just like, it's so much and so overwhelming, and you just want to keep it all. You know what I mean? You can, like, it dissolves your ego completely. You know what I mean? And that in itself is so instantaneously sobering. Like, today in our social media world and everything else, everyone's so self-indulgent and just, you know, they do everything for the likes and the follows and the whatever, and it's clout chasing and whatever. And to go someplace and then just have all that completely disappear and just be able to try to, I don't know, dude, take it all in. And it's just such a fucking hard thing to describe.
So let me put it in this way. So, and I've never done it, and I don't know if I ever will, but for someone who like wants to create content and maybe not so much for the likes, but to just get out there and want people to see it, why would someone like me want to do that? Or why would someone who strives to, like, does it take your drive away from what you're doing in your life?
No, it's the exact opposite. You know what I mean? It's more of, if you've ever experienced shrooms, like, you've had the hard reset. You know what I mean? There's that hard reset. With DMT done in the right setting, you know, taken with the right intention, you know, it's almost like a religious sacrament almost. You know what I mean? If you're going and saying, hey, you know, I'm struggling with this in my life. I'm trying to figure out my place in the world. You know, what's going on? You know, what do I need to do to move on to the next step? Am I on a right path? Am I being a nice person? You're going to get all those answers in 3 minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's how long it is? It's 3 minutes?
Well,
depends
there's the up and down. Yeah, there's a lot of different variables. Like ayahuasca, for instance, is 4 hours.
Yeah, that's DMT as well, right?
No, it is DMT, but it's just a different way of ingesting it. And
is it a trip for 4 hours?
Yeah,
that seems like it's overkill.
Well, dude, when you do ayahuasca, okay, you purge. You're not supposed to eat for 2 to 3 days beforehand. Yeah, you know what I mean? You drink it, you always vomit.
You're fasting, right?
Yeah, you're like, you're guaranteed almost to vomit. It's always done in a large setting with multiple people, with someone
throw up from the littlest things. Yeah, man, I'll be throwing up all day if I did ayahuasca.
There's tons of videos of people online, of famous people, you know, who've done or you know, go out and they've done ayahuasca, and like, that to me is scarier than doing DMT. You know, freebasing it. Yeah, I haven't done ayahuasca yet.
Why is that scarier?
Because it's so long.
Yeah, okay.
And some people describe it, it's like, you know, 10 years of psychotherapy condensed into, like, you know, 4 hours. So there's a lot that happens. You know, but the what is it? It's like the putting in the more effort to do it. It's like you just pray that it pays off, or, you know what I mean? Or just, I've gotten a lot of good things out of it, and, you know, if anything, the greatest experience from it is just, we're all one, dude. You know what I mean? Everyone, just be nice to everybody. If anything, now maybe there is afterlife, maybe there isn't, but I'm just going to be nice to everybody, do my best to be nice to everybody, just to be a nice person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no need to be a dickhead, or, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know who else had a bad day, or why someone is... If someone's an asshole to me, I just kind of think about, like, oh, well, I guess you just suck. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something... And
you're saying that's a direct effect from taking the DMT? It's just opened up your mind more than like mushrooms or acid or anything else?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you've done those things, and
Yeah.
people always say, like, oh, I'm opened up now. But you're saying this takes it even further.
Yeah, and like I don't like it to sound like braggadocious or like I'm this completely like enlightened person. If anything, it's more of like I'm humbled by it all. You know what I mean? It's more of like, no matter how smart I think I am, you're really not that smart, or whoever, it's more along that
Kind of put in
like,
your place, huh?
Yeah, like 100%. It that's what comes with the whole shrinking of the ego. You know what I mean? Is a lot of the more you let your ego go, you lose sight of what's important. You come back and you appreciate the meal that you eat with your parents on Sunday.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You appreciate, going out, just seeing your buddy, or just
having a conversation.
It's just those small interactions, and you start to realize that
is life.
Right. But if you're just a little bit nicer to somebody else, like, that can make somebody's day, just holding a door open for somebody, saying thank you, and being courteous. Like, you realize that those little things can, turn into something big, and hey, maybe it makes somebody else's day.
It's weird that like drugs, like, you have to do drugs sometimes in order to realize that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's weird because everything seems pretty clear as a kid, or at least as clear as, like, you do this, you get this, you do that, you get rewarded this, or if you are nice, this is what happens. But like, as you get older, like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like, you just kind of, I don't know, you kind of lose sense of like, just, I don't want to say what's good and right, because there's always, you're always making decisions, but like, I don't know, I just think it's like like you were saying earlier, there's a reset button, and it's kind of just like, you don't realize what the reset button is until you hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you may think you have it all down, but like, I don't know, like, and once again, I've never done the DMT, but I may have done shrooms, and it's definitely like, okay, this is how I've been acting, or this is what this situation makes me feel like, or whatever it is. But it just sounds like this is just a more intense level of it.
Most certainly. But it's been worth it. It fell into my lap. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I sought out, and I said I was lucky enough to be able to get to experience it. So it's like, I'd like to share it. You know what I mean? And I think everyone has to make their own decisions, you know what I mean? I would never force it on anybody or whatever. If anything, it's the complete opposite, where I'm more like, hey man, I had this wonderful thing that if you would ever want to try, or I've had it, you know what I mean? Here, it's a gift to give to somebody, you know what I mean? And give them that awesome experience. So.
Like, if I could pass it along, I'll pass it along.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
Give you this experience.
Yeah. But, my other thing, too, is, kind of like what you were saying, with when you're a kid, things are really easy, The way that I've always looked at it is, like, there's no instruction manual for life, Everything you buy.
I shouldn't say easy, but, like, things seem so black and white when you're a kid, whereas you get older, things are very gray.
Yeah. It's, but for me, it's, I've always been trying to figure it out. I've always been a skeptic. I've always wanted to try to understand everything the best way that I possibly could, and looked at, just trying to figure out, what the fuck is life? I think that's been everybody's, quest for as long as we've been here. There's so many different religions and everything else. I've always been interested in all of them.
Well, I mean, I feel like I've definitely, on a personal level, had some, like, existential, like, what the fuck am I? And I don't know. I mean, I can only think for me, but I don't know how other people feel, but I can imagine where other people kind of feel the same way. And, what is everything about? But you feel like this gives you a better understanding of it, even though you can't articulate it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's what you always hear.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is like, it's just, it's so fucking hard to articulate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is such a wonderful experience, and it'd be great for everybody, or not everybody, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's
some people should experience it if they're up for the task. But
yeah.
it's also kind of hard to determine whether you are up for the task, right?
Yeah.
Because you may go into it thinking you can handle it, but you may come out just in shambles. But you also may go into it really worried, and it may be the best thing of your life.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of really, really good ones, and it's helped me feel that I'm trying to be a better person, or just overall be a better person for whatever the hell that means, you know?
So let's kind of talk about the trips that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were talking about, and when we did this, I think we were talking about the net being.
The net of being?
The net of being. So you smoke this shit, you get taken to outer space, you see these shapes, you see this other shit. You were talking about earlier, you saw a bunch of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You feel at home, but you also feel unfamiliar.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more, man. I mean,
I get a good one.
Tell me more that we haven't already talked about.
Okay, so I actually had one experience where I was in my living room. Okay, so totally know where I am completely. This time I was doing it out of the the vape juice.
Okay.
So, like I said, the way that was set up was
different.
Yes, and it was like really easy to do, and it was really easy to do in small doses, to not
be completely unstable.
Yeah, so your average trip is, like 3 minutes, if you're lucky.
Really?
And
that's it, huh?
It's not very long.
Does it feel longer though?
It feels like a long time.
Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, and there's different stages, like once you start to come down, it's not like instantaneous.
Yeah.
You kind of drag your feet on your way out, but there was this one time where I did it for like an hour and a half straight, where like I was just sitting on my couch and I would just hit it, and I was at my wedding. Okay. I got married to this beautiful purple geometrical figure.
What the fuck?
In this fucking, I don't know, dude. It was literally like at my wedding reception or some shit, dude. I remember meeting people, and everything is just made out of these weird geometric patterns. Remember that stupid little rock candy? Like when you're, that like that comes like on a stick?
Yes.
Everybody looked like that. Like that was like how their faces were built with.
Could you see yourself?
I could not see myself, but
were you still a being? Do you think, like a human being?
I don't know what I was.
Could you have been a candy rock stick as well?
I don't know, dude. But that's like the only way that I could describe it. Is just everything was, it's like crystalline formations that you were talking to, and like I'm like, okay, this is fucking bizarre. But I remember looking forward and then tracking my head to the left, and as I looked left, my right eye was like in this DMT world, but my left eye could still see the rest of my living room.
What the fuck?
And I remember my friend coming from the bathroom and walking towards me, and I'm like, are we still in my living room? And he's like, uh-huh. And then like as I turned my head back, I was back to this like bar in this weird fucking futuristic place that like I can't even describe.
Dude, it sounds like almost like ketamine.
Dude, it was bizarre.
Do you know what ketamine is?
Yeah.
It almost sounds like that.
That time, dude, that was one of like the craziest.
Have you ever taken ketamine?
No.
My sister had it for an operation, I guess, for
Yeah.
surgery.
Yeah.
And she was like, she said she looked at my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and all she could see were her glasses, and that was it. Like, she's looking at her face, and she could just see glasses. I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like, man. But it sounds the same but different.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
like it's just, dude, it's bizarre, and like I said, I was there for it felt like fucking eternity, and like as you're coming down, it's like they want you to stay there. There's these beings, there's something. There's a multiverse or some fucking shit. It's something that's I can't comprehend, dude, and I don't think anybody will. But a funny thing is there's literally like a DMT universe like encyclopedia where fucking you can go online, and there's there's people who have done it and like reported the same things,
Mm-hmm.
talking to the same people, the same beings and
Well,
shit.
you said Jester and Joe Rogan right before you came over. I was watching one where he said the same exact thing.
Yeah, and that's one of like the really common ones is seeing jesters. Yeah, they're weird. It's fucking hard to explain, but they just fuck with you. Like
That sounds super scary.
It's like not in a
It sounds
bad
scarier
way.
than almost like a clown, honestly.
It's like, but it's fuck with you in like a humbling way. You know what I mean? It's like it's that ego dissolving. It's just like
Yeah.
you're like you think you know who you are, and then you go there
What's
and then
happening is supposed to be happening.
right, you know.
And it's a lesson.
Yeah, and like I said, they just sit and they just poke fun at you and like, oh, you think that's funny? Hey, remember when you did this? And you remember that time when this happened? I'm like
basically how much of a piece of shit you are.
to an not to a piece of shit, but just like
It really humbles you, I feel like.
it's the biggest humbler. You know what I mean? And it's the biggest ego dissolver, and you know, that's not common, is having, you know, and I have an ego. I'm not saying my ego's dissolved and I'm this, you know, incredibly enlightened being. I'm just fucking rambling now.
No, you're good, man. Is there anything else that the people should know or anything else that you want to inform them about it that we haven't touched base on?
You know, always be careful. Definitely, it's not dangerous, but like the entire time I've been trying to say is the most important thing is just you have to be safe. You know what I mean? You never want to put yourself in an endangered situation when doing any substance of any kind, and especially with something as serious as
Powerful.
Yeah, and powerful. It should be
Powerful
respected.
to coach us.
Yeah, it should be respected, and you know what I mean. Do tread lightly. Be careful. Be kind. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it at that.
I guess. I think.
Yeah. Nothing else we want to touch base? Any other trip stories or anything else you want to
Let's see.
rattle out there? You don't have to, but
No.
I just want to make sure we're touching on everything before we wrap this up.
What do you think? No, not really, man. Fuck. No, nothing I can think of at this moment. At least.
No, that's cool. I don't want to put you on the spot either,
dude, there's
but
nothing.
I just want to make sure we're...
It's such a complex thing, and overall, it's just so hard to explain. You know what I mean? And no matter how hard I try, there's no way to
And you've
articulate
kind
it
of... Well,
intelligently.
let's touch base. You've researched how to make it a little bit, right? Or you know how it's made?
Yeah.
Not how to make it, but you know how it's made?
Yeah, I do know.
How does it work?
So that's fucking... It's super... Not super complicated, but...
Comes from a bark?
Yes. So that's one of the most common ways to harvest it is... it's called Mimosa hostilis.
Mimosa.
Oh yeah, so I think it's I want to say it's mimosa or mosoa, something like that.
Samoa?
Some form of that. MOMSA, something like that.
All right.
Mimosa. I don't fucking know. I can't think right now. But
Is it the DMT?
no, definitely not that. So basically, you get this bark that's just really high content of DMT.
It's colorful?
Yes, violet. It's actually used in pigments, for makeup and coloring. It's
really?
It's fairly common, but you get this bark, and there's tons of different ways to extract it, but one of the most common ones is you grind up the bark to a fine powder. You can bind a couple normal household ingredients. You convert it from not convert it, but you change the pH level.
You're kind of pulling it from it?
Yeah, it's exactly what they call it. It's pulling.
Extracting it.
Yeah, so you get the DMT, the the rich bark that is rich with DMT. You combine all these ingredients, and you can get the DMT to separate from the plant material.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you add another chemical that the DMT can then go into. Okay, so
kind of like what we were talking about with the tobacco or the weed, the plant matter.
So the DMT can go into this. It's more like oil and vinegar. So you've made an oil and vinegar mix. You know how oil and vinegar or oil and water don't mix.
Yeah, I got
So that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then you're adding in a third part that the DMT can then become or go into, while still staying separated from the rest of the material.
So coming out and going in.
Yeah. So then you end up with just this DMT rich chemical, the solvent, and you extract that off the top, and then you put that in a giant Pyrex tray, and you let it freeze for 24 to 48 hours. The longer you let it sit, the better. But the DMT will separate from the solvent, and it'll stick to the glass tray. And once it freezes...
So there's a solvent over the...
The solvent is what you're using to extract it.
And the DMT is what, crystal?
It's a crystalline, yeah.
And then there's a liquid over this crystal once you
Well,
freeze it.
no. So when you pull it out, it's just the DMT inside of the solvent. So to separate the DMT from the solvent, you freeze it. Because the DMT will crystallize and it'll fall to the bottom, and then the solvent will not freeze, it'll just raise to the top. So after, you're good 48 hours or so, you can pour off the excess solvent, and all you have is the crystalline DMT frozen at the bottom. Then you would let that sit out for a period of time and air dry, and then you would end up with crystalline DMT that you could then scrape out. You could either mix that with you can make a vape juice, like I had said. People used to make vape juice a lot. You could mix it with plant material to be able to smoke it out of a bowl, or you could do what they call pharmawaska, which is mixing basically the same chemicals that are in ayahuasca, but just pharmaceutically. So you're just, instead of using the bark that is used to make ayahuasca, you're just ingesting the two chemicals without having to purge and throw up and all that other bullshit.
Wow.
So there's a lot of options.
Damn, dude, you've done a lot of research on this shit.
I said I was a sommelier or a connoisseur.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up with that. That was pretty good.
Thanks, dude.
Tony 2 times. Hopefully, we'll figure it out for us. Tony 2 times. Chicago Johnny. The Coach House. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you got some insight on this.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're going to try DMT.
Yeah, maybe you will.
Hopefully you're going to see some crazy shit and go to outer space. But thanks for coming on, man.
No
really,
problem.
I seriously appreciate you coming out, talking about this. Maybe we can dive into some other stuff another time on another episode. Dude. I'd love to have you back.
Hell yeah. I'd love to be back.
All right. Please like the video if you actually like it. And then please subscribe if you don't mind. I really do appreciate that. We're going to try to pump out a few episodes every week, at least one. Last week, I do apologize. Chicago was having a lot of rioting and looting, so I was a little busy, as you could tell from my last video. But yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll be back. Thank you.